Boys, welcome to a new Ragnarok chapter review. Today we have chapter 47. We got a little bit of the fight between Buddha and Zero throughout this chapter, but the majority was explaining Buddha's, weapons abilities and then a full backstory for our boy Buddha during this chapter, which isn't the best backstory I'd have to say, but I enjoyed it quite a bit and it does give a sense of who Buddha is as a character in the story. Now, onto the review. Be a mad lad by subscribing and joining the superior side, helping me reach my 2021 goal of 100k subscribers. I also have a Patreon for people who want various benefits while supporting the channel directly, alongside the Discord server and my Twitter. That's all linked in the description. Now, enjoy the video. The chapter begins with us seeing the attack from Zero at the end of last chapter, the attack that pretty much covers the whole arena, one of the most devastating attacks we've seen so far in Ragnarok, if I'm being honest. And of course, Buddha, who transformed his staff into a shield last second to easily block this crazy OP attack. Then we cut to Brunhilde, who explains what happened, and this is where she explains his divine weapon, which is known as the Six Realm Staff. With these 6 realms shown on screen now, you see like Divine Realm, Usher Realm, Animal Realm, Human Realm, etc., stuff like that. And each of these, realms have, stored power within this staff, and the staff reacts directly to Buddha's emotions and changes based on his emotion. So if he has a, fearful emotion, maybe a shield will come up. But yeah, it reacts accordingly to his emotions, which is pretty deadly. A weapon that can change forms whenever he really feels like it, which is pretty insane. We see Buddha talking some more shit to Zero again, talking about, him going through puberty again, all that great stuff. We see Zero pulling his weapon back and we see that it's actually transformed. He talks about how he wasn't able to flatten Buddha, so he's going to try and stab him to bits now with his changed weapon here with all these spikes. So both Zero and Buddha can change their weapons, which is pretty interesting. So we're going to see as the fight continues possibly how they're trying to counter one another, or maybe Zero trying to launch a new attack and then Buddha showcasing his ability to, counter the weapon or the specific attack that Zero is going to use with his own weapon. Then as Zero is going for another attack, we cut to Buddha, who changes his weapon again to, counter what Zero is going to do. We see them charging one another, Buddha using his future sight, his other ability that we learnt about, I believe last chapter or the one before, allowing him to, of course, dodge Zero's attack and land a direct shot on him, knocking Zero to the ground. No one was really able to see what was going on, or Ares wasn't able to, see what's going on because, of course Ares wouldn't be able to, the Trash's god, but we have Hermes explaining what happened there with us seeing a better view here, showing how he's able to pretty much slide or counter to dodge Zero's attack and then land a direct hit, and this attack has pretty much resulted on Zero being put on the ground and pretty much screaming in pain. So as a whole, Buddha is still completely outmatching Zero in every way. This, stopping his most powerful attacks, and then when he transforms his weapons, just countering him easily and landing direct hits. And we do actually see some blood coming from Zero here. We cut to Gol, who's questioning what emotion Buddha must have been feeling to inflict damage on Zero with that attack. And then we have Brunhilde saying the following: he lives his life how he pleases, with nobody holding him down. That's precisely because he's the strongest adolescent. So this means Buddha isn't actually a full-grown adult in the, Ragnarok story. History's strongest adolescent is what Brunhilde calls him here. And of course, History's strongest is given to another character throughout the series. I believe this is like 4 or 5 characters who have been given the title strongest in some regard, and Buddha is added to that list, and another character that's probably worthy to be added to that list. And then from here we cut to Buddha's whole backstory. We learn that he was a pretty decent swordsman, or pretty much learned swordsmanship, and that he was pretty much a noble of this Indian kingdom when he was alive, and he was actually, the son of the main ruler, and this resulted in throughout most of his life him being given really anything he wanted, just not needing to really worry about anything. And we actually see his birth with the following mentioned about Buddha: this boy will be the greatest among all of humanity, and one day shall come to rule the world. So ever since his birth, he's been considered the greatest of all humanity, the new ruler of the world at some point. That's just pretty insane. And this is where we have Buddha first mentioning destiny, but he's still following, you know, the lessons of his father until something happens with his brother. He goes to visit his brother, who's a ruler of another kingdom during this time, to see that his brother has actually succumbed to some illness and doesn't have much time left. We also see some other experiences from Buddha that I'm not going to go into too much detail about, but it's all relating to destiny and gets him thinking about how destiny works, what is destiny, everything like that. But we see his brother, who at first he believed he was, you know, happy, that his brother was happy due to the wealth and everything he has accomplished in his life, for us to find out that's actually wrong, and that he had chosen nothing for himself. Everything was handed to him, and that makes Buddha, you know, think about his own life, and that he doesn't pretty much have his own free will or own will to, you know, follow one's own destiny due to, you know, a life of being given everything he could ever really need, or being told what to accomplish instead of doing what he wants, with his true goal being to acquire happiness. And this, you know, makes Buddha really think about what destiny truly means and what the idea of being truly happy means for him. And this allows him to become, as it says here, enlightened, with this pretty cool looking panel, if I'm being honest. I enjoyed that panel, that's why I used it in the thumbnail for today's video. But this is the moment where he becomes enlightened due to his brother's death. And we see, you know, everyone who's at the funeral for his brother saying he must have been happy due to the great kingdom he ran and all the wealth he gained throughout his life. Well, as we know, due to the conversation with Buddha, that wasn't actually true, and he wasn't happy at all due to not having his own free will or ability to acquire what he considers happiness. And we see Buddha walk in and pretty much take the dead body of his brother, tell everyone to pretty much shut up, and then walks away and lets his brother flow down the river to see what the end of the river was truly like, as that was one of the things he wished he would have accomplished before his death. And as he says goodbye to his brother, he pretty much leaves the kingdom to never be seen again. And this is where the story of him becoming the Buddha exists, the enlightened man, and, you know, gaining followers and everything like that. And yet that's pretty much a quick little summary breakdown of the backstory we got for Buddha during this chapter, but it's summarized pretty well by this final quote at the end: to fight back against the fate that has been decided for him by others. Then we cut back to Brunhilde and Gold, with Brunhilde saying the following: to Buddha, it doesn't matter whether they are God or man. For those who try to deny him his own eternal happiness and impose fate upon him, he has nothing but absolute hatred, showing now that he has absolute hatred for the gods, and that's why he is considered the strongest adolescent. He's able to fight the gods like he is in this match against Zero. We see Buddha again telling Zero to get up, with him saying, "I'm all yours," and that is the end of the chapter, with this pretty cool looking panel of, you know, half their face mixed together as you see on screen now. But yeah, that is the end of the chapter. Pretty solid throughout. Sadly, we didn't get much fighting for this month's chapter. Of course, I always want more fighting in Record of Ragnarok, but yeah, we got, I'm guessing, the full backstory of Buddha covered now, because prior to this chapter we did get a little bit of his backstory, which was connected to Zero somewhat. I'm guessing that's part way of him becoming the Buddha throughout Buddha's main backstory, but we got to see everything before, you know, him becoming the Buddha in today's chapter. So I'm guessing that's everything for the two backstories and next chapter, and the ones after that we're going to get, you know, just a fight, which is going to be pretty hype. But yeah, take note, we got the ability of Buddha's weapon explained, which could very well be one of the most strongest or broken weapons in the whole series so far. Probably next to Thor's hammer, which probably had the most attack potential, or maybe even Zero's weapon now could have the most attack potential. But now Buddha's ability has probably been the most versatile, and I cannot wait to see what other transformations his weapon has. But yep, that should be everything for today's video. As always, shout out to the people who support the channel via the Patreon. Let me know your thoughts of the chapter down in the comments. But yep, that's it guys. Peace.